Good morning, friends. It's Julie at Reflections Framing and Stitching. Today is Sunday. It is the 5th of June, and this is Chart of the Week video number 135. Welcome. How are you today? I'm doing good. I'm a day late with my video. I had everything ready and went to record it yesterday, and I left my computer at home. So here we are at home recording the video on Sunday instead of Saturday. So I apologize for the delay. It was entirely unintentional. So how was your week? It was good. We had some beautiful weather this week. Several nights of sitting on the deck and stitching and visiting. Adam and family came over last night for a quick visit. Friday night we went to sometime this weekend we went to the girls had their dance recital. We didn't get to go last year because of COVID, so this year we were allowed to go, so we went and watched the girls' dance recital. They did good. Addie danced in the third dance, I think, and Emma danced in the 34th dance. And I think there were 36 total dances. So we got to see the whole thing. It was good. It was good. We enjoyed ourselves a lot. Dan and I like to watch So You Think You Can Dance. So, Dan thinks he's kind of a good judge of dancers. So he would make little comments here and there while we were watching. Nothing mean. He'd just say, oh, they need to smile more, or they need to not make faces, or that sort of thing. But overall, we thought the dancing was very good, and we enjoyed ourselves. So that was this weekend. And then the rest of the week, earlier in the week, nothing special to write home about. So pretty much I ripped out everything I had put in on all of my projects from last Saturday forward. I did that yesterday, so I think I've got everything ripped out and put back in now. Well, in one case I haven't put it back in yet. I just didn't want to face it, but I'm making progress slowly on several things. So I hope you had a great week, and I hope you got lots of stitching done. Last week's question of the week was your favorite non-essential stitching accessory. There were lots of different answers, but a couple of the more unusual answers were someone had an Echo Dot as their favorite stitching accessory because they like to listen to music while they're stitching. Robin uses a music stand to hold her chart. She was the only one that mentioned that. Popular responses were project bags and needle minders. So thank you for answering that question. I appreciate that. If I seem out of breath today, it's because I'm having some I get premature beats both on the upper and lower part of my heart, and it's acting up really bad, so I'm having some problems breathing today. So if I seem out of breath, or you see me hitting my chest, I don't know, for some reason I think if I hit my chest it's going to help, but that's what's going on. I'm not in any danger. It's just uncomfortable, and sometimes it makes me lose my breath a little bit, so just ignore it if you see it. Comments, guys, comments. There were a total of 107 comments that included replies to other people's comments. So 104 total people commented on last week's video, and I just want to say thank you so much. That was amazing. Really, really amazing, and I appreciate you taking the time to do so. And for those of you that did, there may somewhere in this video, one of you may get a little surprise if you happen to be watching at that point in the video. So stay tuned. There were some questions and comments I wanted to address. Julianne, she just found my channel, and I wanted to say welcome, and I'm glad that you enjoy it. I hope you come back. Laura, your checklist comment made me chuckle. She had given, I don't know if y'all read the comments yourselves, but she had given a list of things she has to do before she can sit down and stitch in the evening, and it was rather amusing, so thank you for the chuckle. Faith said she would like to live closer so we can go antique shopping together. That would be really nice, because aside from Dan and my sister, who really doesn't get to go that often because of health issues, the other two people that I go antiquing with don't live in town, so I usually have to wait until they come to town to go, because I don't like to go by myself. It's not as much fun. I am going on Monday. Lori is in town, and so she asked if I wanted to go, and so tomorrow we are meeting at the Brass Armadillo and going to do a little browsing of the antique mall. Beth, she thought possibly a full hazmat suit might help my sickness situation. I would tend to agree. This week, Reese had tonsillitis, and so when Abby called to see if she and Hayden could come and spend the night, I was a little bit hesitant because, you know, they kind of live with her, and I was like, I don't know that I really want you here. And of course, Abby was not real happy with that response, but I'm still coughing from the last round, so I was like, I said she could come, but I also told her I wasn't going to hug on the baby or anything, which is very hard to do when the baby's here. You just kind of want to hold him. Speaking of that, I have a really cute picture of him, and I don't think I've shown a picture of him. So let me find it and show it to you. The little guy is 2 months old now. Can you believe that? 2 months. So there he is. That's Hayden. He's got two little dimples, bright blue eyes. He's a real cutie. They did not end up coming into town to spend the night. They came into town, and she did stop in briefly, but I didn't hold him, and I didn't hug on him, so I just wasn't ready to get sick again. I'm a bad grandma. There, Stitcher, you mentioned that you're obsessed with scissors. I think there's a lot of us with that same obsession. I have so many scissors, and I have so many scissor holders for them, you know, flower or scissor frogs that I've done. I found the most amazing one the other day. I don't think I'll show it in this video, but the next time I do a regular video I will. But it really pretty. Of course, Connie said if I decide not to keep it that she wants to buy it, so sorry. Judy Betts, yes, it was Boston that I showed you. Did have the name correctly. Or correct. Doreen. See, I got my notes. I have to have notes. She was talking about her favorite accessory being a stash and store. And I have one at the shop that I use to put all the pencils and stuff in at the front counter. And I've got a couple mini ones, you know, that I ordered thinking Stitchers would like them. But they haven't sold, so I don't know. I find them handy. East Coast Stitch asked if are soft Aidas. Yes, there are soft Aidas. There is a line called Country French. There's like Country French Cafe Mocha, Country French Golden Needle, Country French Latte. Those are all very soft Aidas, and then most of the overdyed Aidas are also soft. So picture this plus Seraphim. Drawing a blank here this morning. Color and Cotton, I would assume. So the overdyes are softer just because they're going through the dyeing process, and all of the starches and stuff that they put into the Aida is most of it is washed out. Then on the opposite side of things, L. Harris has difficulty stitching with soft Aidas. She said it's way too floppy, and I guess I would ask if you're stitching in hand, that would probably be an issue. I would recommend using a Q-snap or a hoop if you really have to. I'm not a fan of hoops because they leave hoop marks, and those are often really hard to get out of your stitching when you're stretching it. But I would recommend trying to use a hoop or a Q-snap or even stretcher bars if you find that it's too soft and too floppy for you. Deborah Dickin wanted to know if there is an alternate to vintage cedar plank. Not real close alternate. I did want to say that I know you were looking for fabric for 2 separate Blackbird design charts. I have a very small amount of 32 count vintage cedar plank that I have put on hold in the computer, Deborah, and I will keep it on hold for a week from the time I post this video. If you want to call and give me stitch count to see if we can get maybe one of them out of this. But this is the color that she's looking at. It's kind of, my sister was at the shop this week and she was helping me. And she ran across this color and she's like, well, that's different. And she says, it's like you can't decide if it's green or gray. And I agree. It can go both ways. So it's kind of a unique color. I really like it. It goes with a lot of things. So I do have, it can't be purchased through the website at this time because I put it on hold. So Deborah, if you want to call and see if I have a big enough piece, we'll see if we can help you out. Alternatively, this is a 36 count, so it probably wouldn't help you any, but Vintage Tundra is very similar. It's a little bit lighter, but it's very similar in color. And I have a little bit of that left. So if that might work for you, I don't know. And the only other thing I could think of would be Color and Cotton. I think it's Color and Cotton. Has a color called Driftwood. Well, they had a color called Driftwood. I don't know if they still do. It doesn't have the green in it, but it has the same sort of look and tone, and that might work for you too. And this is a 32 count. So hopefully that helps you out. Lori, you suggested a wooden canopy frame for my deck so that it wouldn't blow away all the time. And Lori, we were originally going to do that when we had the deck built, actually. And and he was going to add, it was something like $10,000 more to do that. So we didn't do it. And then Dan was going to do it himself, drew it all up. But then the wood prices started going up so high that we just decided we couldn't afford it right now. So someday I'm hoping that we can do that, but now is not that time. But thank you for the suggestion. And Deb mentioned putting in 144 hills of taters with tomatoes to come next in response to the gardening question from a week or so ago. And it just kind of reminded me of a comment that I made to Dan the other night that was really stupid on my part. So I thought I would share it with you. But we were watching the news and they were talking about the cost of everything going up and food prices and shortages and this, that, and the other thing. And I looked at him and I said, oh, we probably should have planted a garden this year. And then it dawned on me, before I even really finished that sentence, what it was that was coming out of my mouth. Because we all know I don't eat vegetables. So planting a garden would do us no good. Dan gave me that look like, what the heck are you talking about? And I was already laughing by this time, and he said, what are you going to do? Barter for it? And I said, well, that's a good idea. We could barter for meat, and they could have the vegetables. So, you know, it could happen. It could happen. Natalie, what were you talking about? It was something about, oh, it'll come to me. See, I just make short notes, and sometimes I don't, especially since it was yesterday I made the notes. I'll come back to it. Colleen got a chuckle from you over the mental picture of you in your thigh-high boots. That's quite the image. Thank you. She was referring to the gal that came in last Saturday. She was hanging out on Tuesday too. And when I went home on Saturday, she was walking down 72nd Street's a real busy street in Omaha, and the shop faces 72nd Street, and she was walking north on 72nd Street when I left to go home last weekend. Still in her thigh-high boots. I don't know how she walks in them. I'd have blisters in 2.2 seconds. Not to mention my knees would not like it. And then on Tuesday, I had to stop in at the vet and make an appointment for rags. And I happened to ask them, had she been in their shop? And the gal that was at the front counter said, no, she didn't think so. And I said, oh, okay. And so I made the appointment, and then I came back over to my shop, and about 5 minutes later she popped in and she said, I was wrong. She was here on Saturday, and she was here just this morning. And I said, oh, okay. At least it's not just me she's hitting up. I didn't see her this weekend. And I think if I see her again, I may or may not. I haven't decided. I may call the cops. I don't need her coming in to the shop asking for money. I'm not ever going to give her any money. So I may call the cops. I know that probably makes me a bad person, but I did have a police officer in the shop this week. Well, he's retired from New York. Very nice gentleman. We had a good chat. And I happened to mention it to him, and he said, yeah, she's probably a meth addict and a prostitute, and is hoping to not only get some money, but maybe a little extra business on the side. Which she would not be getting from me. So, anyway, thanks for the chuckle, Colleen. Let's see. Oh, Betsy was telling me that she'd done a quilt and given it to, I think she said her daughter-in-law, and her daughter-in-law used it put it in the dog bed, and I thought that's worse than what happened to my quilt. So I think I'd go and take it out of that dog bed and keep it for myself then. That's just not nice. So let's see. I think that's all the comments. So why don't we get started on, you guys do not need to go. Go lay down. 4 dogs is way too many. Let's start on this week's. We're already 20 minutes in and I haven't started on this week's chart of the week. It is from Erica Michaels, and it is Christy Barron 1832. It's a sampler reproduction. It came out at Market. I absolutely love it. This I don't know if this is a better picture. The border is really sweet. I like the colors. The saying, it's kind of a religious saying. It's okay. It's not as bad as some. I tend to not like the religious sayings. I'm a heathen. What can I say? I believe in God. I don't necessarily believe in organized religion. But that could change as I age. I don't know. This is a picture of the original, front and back views of the original. Charlie, go lay down. So it's a very pretty sampler, and I think she did really, really good with the color selections. They look pretty close to me, from in the picture anyway. Information on this sampler. It calls for 37 count corn tassel legacy linen from Access Commodities. The stitch count is 243 by 268. She says the style lots may vary. Choose your fabric to allow for contrast with the lightest colors used in the model, which are DMC 422 and 3865. Otherwise, it calls for weak dye works, and you do need multiple skeins of several of the colors. Well, two of the colors. Lily pad, you're going to need 3 skeins on the called for, and Louisiana hot sauce, you'd need 2 skeins of, if you're stitching it on the called for fabric. She has a nice page giving a little bit of information on Christy Barron, which is always nice to have. And then if you do it on 40 count, your design size is going to be about a little over 12 by a little over 13. So it's not huge, but it's not teeny tiny either. And you know, there's a lot of different motifs that you could use if you don't want to do the whole sampler. You know, there's a lot of motifs in here that you could make little pin pillows. You know, the baskets, this main basket. So it's pretty versatile if you're not a sampler stitcher. I didn't used to be. And I'm still really kind of picky about which ones I like. I like symmetry, and the colors tend to draw me in. And like I said, I don't really like religious sayings on them too much. So anyway, I think I'm rambling a little bit more than normal because I'm not at the shop, and I know that the shop isn't going to open in 20 minutes, so I feel a little more like I can just sit and chit-chat a little bit, which is probably not what you're here for. But so this is all I have left right now of corn tassel. It is a very light yellowy color, not as yellow as some. It's a nice color for a sampler. And These are the colors. I did have to substitute for Oscar because my order hasn't come in yet. So there are your colors. I will be getting the corn tassel in again. I'm just currently out of it. But I have options. Options. They're always good. And my first option is 32 count milk and honey from Fiber on a Whim. It is very close. It's very close to corn tassel, but it has some movement in it. Aren't those colors pretty? So that would work for you Aida stitchers. The closest I could come to what I have in stock is Parchment, and this is a 6. I really gotta learn to wear glasses. What is this? I think it's a 16 count. So I think this would work well also. And give you the look of the original. Next we have 40 count Paperbark from Fox and Rabbit. It's a little more yellow than what the others are that I have shown so far. But I still think it would be pretty. This is 40 count Raw Natural. Again, one of my favorite fabrics because it is so versatile. Everything shows up on it. This is 40 count vintage navy bean from Lakeside Linens. And just letting you know, don't call looking for a half a yard of it, or I don't have a half a yard of it. I may have enough to do this sampler, but sometimes when I show Lakeside, I get calls for half yards, and I rarely have half yards. I really like that color on there. This would be 40 count Platinum, which is a Zweigart fabric. And I think pretty much everything would look good on here. So, you know, if you don't like the yellowy colored fabric, this would work, I think. Your white's not going to pop a lot, but I think it'll still show. And I thought Duxbury would be good. This is 32 count Duxbury. And it would give it that nice, really old, aged, I've been around the block a few times kind of look. The only one that might have an issue would be straw in some places. That would be this one. Okay. Next up, we have 40 count baked clay from Fox and Rabbits. And I like everything on there. It's a nice golden brown color. And then I've got 28 count Earth Lugana from Fiber on a Whim. Now this is a dark brown. You rarely see a dark color in a Lugana. It just doesn't seem to take the dye well. So I really like the fact that this is dark, because as we know, I do like dark fabric. I think this would be pretty. It does have some green in it, so for those of you who don't like that, this is not the fabric for you. I personally like it and think that could be very pretty. The colors would pop on there. And then for you that like it light and bright, this is 14 count Graceful Gray, Aida. And Graceful Gray is a blue gray. So I think that could be pretty. An entirely different look, but I think it could be pretty. And most of you aren't going to like this next pick, but I do like it. This is 18 count Boardwalk from Color and Cotton. It's green, kind of a khaki green. But I like the colors on it. And it would give you, okay, I'm going to move the screen here real quick. I'm going to point it up. I've got a parrot picture up in this corner right up here that's on kind of this color of fabric, and it's one of my favorite pieces. So I'm going to move it slowly up so you can just kind of see that up there. You can see the green fabric up there with those oranges and yellows, and it's really pretty. I get a lot of compliments on that. So this would give you that same look. And again, this is Boardwalk from Color and Cotton. Very pretty. So that takes care of all your fabric choices for this week's Chart of the Week. I hope you like Christy as much as I do. One of these days I'm going to kit her up and bring her home, but I haven't done it yet. I was kind of waiting for you know, the people who really wanted it from market. And I think that market rush is over, so it'll probably happen sooner than later now. Question of the week for this week. And you're gonna have to think on this. Sorry, but you're gonna have to think. And some of you are gonna say, well, I don't stitch that subject matter, so I'm not gonna answer. But I'm trying to figure out something, which I will explain later when I have gathered my results. So even if the subject matter is not something you would ever personally stitch, I would still like you to answer the question, if you would. Just so I can gather some information. So the question is, if you had to choose either of these one of these charts that I'm going to show you. Which one would you choose, and why would you choose it over the other? So you're going to have to really kind of stop and think. And I don't want to. They're both samplers, and I know there's people who are not sampler stitchers in my audience, and I'd really rather not get because I don't stitch samplers. I wouldn't choose either of them. Answer. I would like you to think about it and say what you like and don't like about the samplers. So the first one is from Fox and Rabbit, and it's called Hannah Dawson, 1831. Okay. There's that. And the second one that I'm going to show you is Janet Barr Slater, 1853. So they're from the same era. There's about 20 years difference between them. Both have a house. Both have trees. This has an alphabet and words. This has no alphabet and words, but it has a lot of motifs on it. It's got a lot of fill on it. This house is not filled in. It's open stitches, so you're only stitching every other one. This house is filled in, but it's a checkered house, and we all like checkered houses. So here they are, side by side. Let's see. I can't see. Okay. There they are, side by side. Look at them carefully and decide which one, if you had to choose one, which one you would choose and why you would choose that one over the other. I will give my response next week. I don't want to influence you. I'm just curious as to how people go. Subject matter is basically the same, both samplers with a house and trees, but they have slight differences. So I'm just kind of curious as to how you make your decision as to which one you would stitch. And I may ask this question with different charts next time, just to get a better sampling. Like, I'll use something that's not a sampler next time, probably. So thank you for taking the time to think about that and answer the question in advance. And if you've stuck around this long, I just wanted to say that I did a random drawing from the 104 unique users from last week, and I chose the random thing chose a winner, and I probably will fracture your name, but Joanne Lavallee, she was comment number 104, I think. You were chosen as the winner. If you wouldn't mind contacting me at, I'll put the email address in the comments below. Contact me with your information, and I've decided, because I know I have some people overseas and I don't normally ship overseas because of a bad experience. So for those that are overseas, I've got a different way of doing things. So it's going to depend on where you're at as to what you'll be receiving, because it's going to kind of be a surprise. So I need you to contact me and give me your information, and then I will chat with you a little bit and send off a little gift for being an awesome commenter. So again, thanks to everyone for taking the time. I know everyone is busy, and it does take time to watch the video and leave a comment, so I appreciate it greatly. Let's see, what else do I have on my notes? Anything? Not a whole lot. Retreat registration occurred this past week. I still have openings. If anyone is interested, there are still openings for single, double, and triple rooms. But I have to close registration this week because with delays in shipping, getting products, that sort of thing, I do need to order the final things like this week in order to get them in time for retreat. So if you're interested at all, you can find the information on the Facebook page. You can find the information on the newsletter link on the website, or you can contact me and I can email it directly to you, whichever you prefer. Let me know, just in case you're interested in coming to retreat. And this upcoming week, what's going on? We have Hayden's baptism next weekend, so we'll be gone on Sunday for that. Otherwise, not a whole lot going on. I am trying to do a little bit of a test run on framing. So last week, since it was so quiet, I managed to get some pieces stretched. And this week I will be ordering some frames, and we'll see how it goes. See how many of them are in stock and how many are not. Otherwise, I don't have any real big plans. Alex and Emily will be back from their little jaunt. They went down to Missouri to do some wine tasting with a friend. And that was Charlie jingling the bells to go OUT. So they'll be coming tomorrow to pick up the dogs. I can't say as I would be sad to see them go. They're both they are both nice dogs. But 4 is a lot of dogs, and they bring in a lot of debris, and since Rag sheds and Charlie sheds, there's just double the hair that there normally is. So I'm going to wait to clean until they're gone. So tomorrow morning I'm going to go antiquing. Tomorrow afternoon I'll probably be vacuuming after they go, just to get the hair off the floor. And that's pretty much my week. I hope you have good plans. I'll probably do some stitching in there. I'm hoping to still get some deck sitting time in before it gets really hot and humid and buggy. It's been so beautiful sitting out there in the evening. I got we purchased a, what do you call them? A fountain last week, and got it set up by the deck, so it's just really nice to sit out there and listen to the tinkling of the water while I am stitching. Although I will say that the tinkling can sometimes be a pain in the butt because I'm old and sometimes it makes me have to go use the facilities. So, but I do enjoy listening to it, and it provides a lot of ambiance. Other than that, I don't have a whole lot. I will try and do a regular video probably next weekend, because I'll have antiquing haul to show from 2 jaunts, maybe 3. Connie comes back on Thursday, and I know she wanted to go antiquing also. Probably won't get that done until Monday, because we've got the baptism on Sunday. So so we'll see. We'll see how it goes. No promises. And yeah, let me know if you're interested at all in retreat. And thank you for watching. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for subscribing. It is all appreciated, and it does all help my channel get more attention. And get lots of stitching done this week, and we will see you next Saturday. Probably. Take care until then, guys. Thanks. Bye.